put me on airplane mode. You can put me on.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Nah, I'm not gonna start that today either. What's going on, fellas and ladies? All the people in the Sideline Junkies podcast land. This is the Tuesday Night Flight. I am the Midnight Rider. He is the big guy, KG. To all the people that watched us last week, we want to thank you. To all those that are watching right now, we thank you. Feel free to comment because we read the comments here. We read the comments. With that being said, today it's going to be a lot of heavy hearts in the early part of the show. Just recognizing some of the people that have passed this week. Then we get into some interesting conversations about the Lakers, turmoil, which is just pretty interesting. I got some interesting comments on that. Commanders preseason opener, definitely had some comments on that. And the Nats free falling. And then we also have.
You got to do it right. Do it like only you can do it.
I got to work up to that. Maybe I'll do it later. I knew when I was reading it, I was like, you made me Anchorman that joint. I'm Ron Burgundy. I'm Ron Burgundy. Oh, man. But with that being said, I'm the Midnight Rider. He's the big guy, KG. It's the Tuesday Night Flight. And as I always do at this point in the show, is pass the baton. And I'm going to pass the baton over to the big guy, KG, to take us around the sports world now.
Welcome. Thank you, Midnight Rider, for that rousing introduction. Buckle up. Put your seatbelts on. Let's go ahead and take off. A little bit of turbulence earlier, as Midnight Rider said, so we're going to get through that. Most important question of the night is, Midnight Rider, how you feeling?
Man, I'm trying to get settled. You know what I'm saying? That's some thing. I normally have a routine when I come in. Got a little bit broken up, but it's all good. I'm here. I'm ready to go. I got my Decepticon t-shirt on. We good.
Mrs. Bossman checking in.
You know what? Question for you. Who's the guy on the Transformers where the cassettes popped out his chest?
That was actually the original. Oh God, was that the original Megatron?
No. So it was either
no.
Here's the dilemma I got. There's Shockwave, and then there's Soundwave, and I haven't looked up the difference yet because I saw this T-shirt and it was dope, so I didn't care which character it was. But it was a Soundwave T-shirt. Anybody in the comments, just let us know. You ain't gotta look it up, KG. The comments. Soundwave was what?
That was the cassette player.
All right, so I'm good. I got the right T-shirt.
That was Soundwave. So
I've been trying to get one because my favorite one of the cassettes is Rumble. But I haven't seen any cassettes with him on it. Quick live sports update. I saw JoJo comment in our one of our chats that Kelsey is killing it. So I'm guessing she's talking about Kelsey Mitchell. Because the Indiana Fever are up 50-38, actually 50-41 on the Toronto Tempo. That's your live looking at the WNBA.
Appreciate that. All right, now we talked about this. Here we go. Let's buckle up. Let's focus. Let's get through it. All right.
You go GM lifestyle. You know what I gotta do? I gotta find the first. So I used to do this show without a hat on, and at some point, the hat became synonymous with everything. I don't remember when that was.
The hat had to match the fit.
Right.
Because see, hold on, wait. Let me do this before we get into it. The hat had to match the fit because the Midnight Rider does dope shit.
There you go.
All right.
I heard from an old man one time. The old man told me, "You got to coordinate."
We had a series of losses in the sports world and one on the perimeter of the sports world. Tommy John, MLB pitcher, 26-year career, famous for getting the UCL surgery that you see so many pitchers. I think they said 7% of major league pitchers have gotten this surgery. And, you know, as of now, he got the surgery first, extended his career, passed away 83 years old. I believe it was bladder cancer that came back. He was a full-time All-Star. Of course, again, he was the first one to ever have the surgery that's named after him, which is Tommy John surgery. 288 and 231. 288 wins, 231 losses, 188 no decisions. They say him and Roger Clemens are the two winningest pitchers not in the Hall of Fame as of right now.
Yep.
And we don't have to get into Roger Clemens. We know why. He was a full-time All-Star. Again, 26-year career. I asked the question last week when he put out a tweet and he sent the letter to be read at the Yankees Old Timers Day game that he wouldn't be able to make it for the first time. And he pretty much said his goodbyes then. And I asked the question, was he a Hall of Famer? And I appreciate Scooter chiming in. I know when I say this stuff, Midnight Rider be like, I'm not indulging in that. We're not doing that. But I appreciate Scooter chiming in and saying, you know, borderline, but not quite. So, and
I can now comment because we on the show. As the curator of content, I have to be careful when I say things. So now we're on the show. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame in this style. I think he should be in at minimum as a contributor because of the surgery and because it saved a bunch of people's careers as pitchers. So I think he should get some kind of credit for that. I mean, I know he didn't perform the surgery, but he is the first person to get it, and it actually worked. So I would say that he saved a bunch of careers and left a bunch of timelines. So I think he should be in as a contributor. As a starter, I mean, he's going to be at a point where some of the pitchers that are going to get in aren't going to have 288 wins. They're going to be like 240, 220, somewhere in that area. So
I don't think
it's going to become an interesting question. It's become an interesting question. While I'm thinking about it, I want to see what Max is at right now. But it's funny because he had 3 really good seasons after he had the surgery. I think he had like 20 wins a couple times post surgery. So, yeah, definitely a good pitcher. Definitely in the Hall of Good. I don't know if he makes the Hall of Fame.
I like Hall of Good. I like Hall of Good. Next up, this is the one I say is on the outer rim of sports, but Hayden Panettiere. The reason why I say it's on the outer rim, she played Cheryl Yost in arguably one of the best football movies of a generation. Remember the Titans? She passed away at 36, day before yesterday. She was also in Heroes, the new Scream reboots, Nashville. She was in Bring It On. She also had a voice acting role in A Bug's Life. And for those of you that are like myself and you love Law and Order SVU, she appeared on 2 episodes of SVU. She also shared a daughter with former undisputed heavyweight champ Vladimir Klitschko. 36 years old, cause of death has not been released, but it's like, damn.
Well, she had troubles from her pregnancy. I guess she had a bad case of postpartum. So and I know she highlighted in, I don't know if it was a memoir or if it was, I don't know how they classified it. The thing she wrote, but I know there was talk about, just being young in Hollywood. So that's just another thing you can add to it. I do remember her with Klitschko because it just looked crazy. You got 6'7", and then you got this lady that's probably barely 110 pounds standing beside him. So yeah, but I always remember her from Remember the Titans. Um, it's probably her. And what's the character that the lady that Sandra Bullock played in the Michael Orr movie? I think those were two more of the more memorable female characters in sports movies. I mean, there's others, but it's like they stole scenes. Like,
Mm-hmm.
when Susan Bullock talks about run the dang ball, stop all the trickery and run the dang ball. That's a famous thing that gets quoted and shown all the time. The other thing that's always shown, uh, when she's sitting down with Denzel, we're talking about Hayden here, and she looks at him and says, "You ran a tough camp." And she goes to give some more advice. I don't remember because it's been a while since I've seen the movie. I just remember her like giving her seal of approval of the camp he ran, and that always sticks out to me in that movie. Of course, when the refs are cheating them in the championship game or in the playoff game, um, and she's like having a fit, and Denzel's daughter's looking at her like she's crazy. So yeah, that's all I got.
Absolutely. Anthony checking in. And he said, I remember her from her Disney Channel days when she was a child star when I was younger. Yes, indeed. And I just, shocking, man. Young, 36 years old. I think her daughter's 11.
Okay.
So that was a shock. Next on the list, Orenthal James Brigance, aka OJ Brigance. Special teams superstar in a lot of circles if you love special teams ball with the Baltimore Ravens. He was diagnosed with ALS in 2007. He had already accepted the role of director of player development in 2004 for the Ravens. Do you know what he has the distinction of being the only player to ever do? Midnight Rider.
Be a Cleveland Brown and a Baltimore Raven.
Close, but not quite. He's the only player in football history to win a Grey Cup and a Super Bowl in the same city. He won a Grey Cup in 1995 with the Baltimore Stallions. And then in 2000, he was on that great Baltimore Ravens team and actually got the first tackle in the game. And if I'm not mistaken, he led the team with 25 tackles that season. And he has a Grey Cup and a Super Bowl ring in Baltimore. He was also John Hopkins ALS ambassador, as well as one of the faces. Whenever you had an event that involved the Baltimore Ravens, you can guarantee that OJ was there. So, Midnight Rider?
I just remember him for the special team stuff. I remember most of his post career because of the work he did. So, yeah, OJ was one of those guys that's a crazy good stat. The Baltimore Stallions, I forgot about the Stallions because all I could think about when you were saying that was the Montreal Alouettes. And I thought they were the Baltimore Alouettes or something like that. But no, okay. You learn something new every day, I tell you. That's why they pay you the big bucks, KG.
Well, with the Stallions, they were actually the CFL Colts their first season.
Okay.
And because the NFL filed an injunction that they couldn't call them the Colts.
Of course they did.
So they didn't have a name for a while. And the crowd, when they would introduce them, they say, "You're Baltimore and an announcer would go quiet, and the crowd would yell "Colts," because this was the time that they were trying to get football back in Baltimore.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, I remember it was a fun time for me. I always wanted to go to a CFL game. But
hey, Anthony, on the Hayden thing, we haven't heard anything, or I haven't seen anything on her cause of death or anything like that. Oh, you thought you was talking about Chris Johnson?
No, not talking. We're talking about OJ Brigance. He said, actually, even though he didn't win in the same city but close enough, he's the first player to win an Arena League championship with the Philadelphia Soul, Super Bowl ring, and a Grey Cup in Baltimore.
That's crazy.
It's a hell of a stat. And last but not least, this is the last one to come across my desk in the office today. Bill Rasmussen, the co-founder of ESPN. Now, this one cuts deep because if you want to do a 6 degrees of separation type thing, you want to do what the Midnight Rider calls a Harry Stamper report, and we dig deep. If it was not for his idea, a lot of podcasts wouldn't exist. I started thinking about it, and I asked myself, would we be sitting here right now with what we have at the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network? Would we be sitting here without his idea? And I said maybe, but not in the form that we would be in, because this is how deep it goes for us. ESPN's created in 79. Well, 78. They premiered in 79. He left ESPN in 80, but his idea carried on because the growth of cable television, sports center, everything that grew in the 90s, they said, hey, let's make this into a restaurant. And you get what? ESPN Zone. At ESPN Zone, you get two young, fresh-faced 18-year-olds that are managed by a wrestling fan and the People's Choice Don Rodriguez. BJ and I leave. He goes back and becomes a manager. If I'm not mistaken, it was either there or IKEA, because Don was at IKEA as well. They meet Junie. So that's another portion. And then, of course, I meet Junie from hanging out with B. Don goes down to Atlanta, meets the Nubian Sumo. And now look at us. Here we are. You know, if it wasn't for that, those ideas coming, if you trace it back far enough, this right here is one of those ones that kind of affects us on a deeper level. But
so somewhere in the multiverse, like we don't know each other, or we're not doing the podcast. Is that what you're telling me?
quite possible, because the idea working
like
for ESPN Zone did something.
So somebody that's like our competition will go back and like make sure that that's the interrupting point to keep us from forming this group. It'd be like, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't happen. I think it would have happened on a different level, because of course you got myself and BJ been talking sports together since 1995 and drawing on desks about what plays were missing, what plays should have been called on 3rd and long to pick up the first down. You know, you got 14, 15-year-olds doing this. We had a nickname, John Madden Jr. and Pat Summerall Jr. So, you know, that's what we did.
Hope y'all ain't pay creative too much for that.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
We did. And Anthony said, was Bill the one that hired Chris Berman to be the host of Monday Night Football and the host of Sports Center? Host of Sports Center, yes. But remember, Monday Night Football, this is before ABC took over at ESPN. But he passed away today. I believe he was, 93? 93. Passed away in Florida. He had been in failing health for quite some time. So, Rest in peace to Tommy John, Hayden Panettiere, OJ Brigance, and Bill Rasmussen. We'll take a short break, come back, and we'll talk this Lakers stuff because I really want to hear what the Midnight Rider got to say because I know what I got to say, but I want to hear what he got to say. So don't go nowhere. Short break, 15 seconds. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tuesday Night Flight. The Tuesday Night Flight brought to you by the Sideline Junkies. I'm the Midnight Rider. He's the big guy, KG. And what we are doing is taking you through the sports world. Now we're coming up with our next topic. And this topic hits very close to home for me. Talks about my LA Lakers. KG, go ahead and set it up for him.
All right. Now, C. Perry II broke this last night, and I said I have to save it, but no, this was Monday. The Buss family has decided to sell its remaining 17.8% ownership stake in the Los Angeles Lakers to new majority owner Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. The Buss family trust received majority votes to allow trustees to execute the sale, which required 4 of the 6 votes to enact a tag-along provision of Mark Walters' $12.5 billion sale to Kushner and Iger. But wait, there's more. Despite reporting that all 6 Buss siblings had agreed to sell their 17.8% share in the team, Lakers Governor Jeannie Buss is reportedly contesting the sale. In a letter obtained by multiple outlets, Jeannie Buss's lawyer, Adam Streisand, wrote that she was opposed to selling the team and that any vote by any of the Buss siblings would be is void, given that it would violate requirements of the Buss's trust, which owns the shares of the Lakers. Midnight Rider?
When the sale went through, I was happy. When I saw the objection by Jeannie Buss, I just knew that it couldn't be clean because whenever I hear Jeannie Buss's name, I start breaking out into the Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey song When the Clowns Come Out. So I knew it wasn't going to end up clean. I knew this was going to have some turmoil, some pushback, some issues. And I think the way it's set up is like, because now here's the funky part. There's a provision in the NBA thing where as long as she maintains the 17.8%, she can be still the governor of the team, whatever that means. But if they get rid of that 17.8, then all power and control goes to the new owners. So that's also probably a sticking point. They probably want to get her out so they can do their thing and get their people in. Hopefully they fire Rob Pelinka. Like they go shake his hand. You're fired. Have a good day. And they just give him a severance package on his way out the door. Because it's already set up. But I mean, the world's too perfect. It's not perfect enough for me to have that happen. But yeah, I think Jeannie's going to do as much as she can to hold this up and to tie this up. So I think we won't have the Lakers completely sold probably for at least another year in my mind. And I'm saying that to be positive. Because I think the legalities of this is they can tie it up and keep it tied up.
I sat with this and I said, you know what? Dr. Buss is rolling in his grave right now. You don't build an empire, a dynasty. The Los Angeles Lakers are to the NBA. Now, this is the sports fan in me. The Los Angeles Lakers are to the NBA what the Dallas Cowboys try to be to the NFL. where the name itself sells. Because when you say Lakers and you see that form blue and that gold, it's synonymous. You know, the LA Forum used to have a club attached to it. But you're telling me that the Bus siblings pretty much ran a whole coup on Jeannie to get her out and to sell and get this money.
I don't know if they ran a coup. They just probably tired of it and want to go back to doing something else.
Then sell your shares to her and get out of the business.
She's not gonna give them what they getting. They got 12 billion. So the one dude bought shares for 10. This is the ultimate hustler move right here. Then sold it for 12 within a year.
Mm-hmm.
Got $2 billion in a year. Good God, man. And then they probably gonna give them a couple billion for this. And everybody else thinking, yo, we getting paid. Meanwhile, Jeannie like, but I still like doing this. You don't shut your ass. I'm sorry. My bad. One of the Bus Brothers, I got channel one of the Bus Brothers. So I think they just like, they ready to go. I think they had their time with it. Because she got control of it and she held control over it. And they didn't get a chance really to go into it. I think they were cool. I think they were done about 5 years ago.
If I'm not mistaken,
I think they were rumblers then.
If I'm not mistaken, Jeannie has been sitting in the front office of in the front office of the Lakers organization since 1979, when her dad bought it. If I'm not mistaken, she's been around those offices. So we talking almost 50 years. And she was 19 at the time. And you want her to give up something that's all she's ever known. Number one. Number two, I think if you get rid of the link, everything else just fall into place. But I don't understand, man. I really don't. I don't understand. Like, but
I feel this way about it. If we were in olden times, I would see Jeannie Buss and I would say, fare thee well, Felicia. Fare thee well, Felicia.
This is more of a you left something to your kids. They're not going to cherish it the way you do. So they're not going to cherish the Lakers the way that Dr. Buss did. Same way with the Cowboys. You know, when Jerry Jones goes to the great beyond, his kids are not going to cherish the Cowboys the way he does.
I think Steven will cherish it, but I think Steven will take some time with it. I think he'd take probably a couple years, and then I think Steven would step out, bow out, and take the 13. Probably at that time, it'd probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 billion for that team,
Mm-hmm.
and then right off into the sunset. Put your feet up. I mean, what else do you like? Sometimes it's like, why not? And I feel like this Lakers sell when they sold the 10 billion, it was like, why not? It's 10 billion. Like 10 billion just don't fall off the tree. You know what I'm saying?
I understand, but you have
ain't nobody on TV talking about you can buy the Los Angeles Lakers for $10 billion. But wait, there's more. Nobody's doing that.
But here's the question, and it's a dumb question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Yeah, you got $10 billion, but if you don't know anything else, what are you going to do? You got to figure out what you're going to do with the money on taxes.
All right, so say the 10 billion becomes 6.5 or whatever because of taxes.
Okay.
All right. I think if you take 3 billion and if you even just do inactive savings and get a saving account, an IRA, whatever those things are called, and just let it incur interest, I think you're gonna be all right. And the only thing you withdraw is the interest. You don't take the whole thing out. You just take the interest out, live off of that. I think you got a good life. I think you got a decent life.
Can't deny it. I will say that you can't deny it.
Or what you would do is take 200 million. You buy one of these fledgling WNBA teams, and you let it ride. See what happens. You see
Well,
what the
see,
owner of
that's
the Aces, the Fever, the Mystics, and any of the expansion teams. I'd see what they want and just boom, just throw them 100 mil here. Take this. Like I wouldn't hand it to them. I mean, of course, I'd have like, my security team would it in like 20s. They'd be all $20 bills, but it'd be, 100 mil. They'd be bringing in briefcases for days, but boom.
And see, I thought that the Lakers still own the Sparks. I was saying, I mean, she could just go with the Sparks, but no.
Nah, that's all separate entity.
Yeah, that's Sparks LA Sports. That's Magic Johnson, Mark Walter, Stan Caston, and Todd Bowley. So,
Yo, for dude, Stan Caston got some cash. Because that dude's been around a lot of things. He was here with the Nats. He was in with the Dodgers for a stretch. He's in with the Sparks. I can't tell you what else he's in on. But yeah, that dude. Yes, it's nice probably to be Stan Caston Jr. You know what I'm saying?
never have to work a day in your life.
It's not as good as being Victor Moan Jr., but it's close to it.
Anthony say, wait, is Tommy John the guy who came up? No, he didn't come up with the surgery. He was the first one they performed the surgery on. First guy they performed the surgery on that was successful. He said, my friend's parents, being that they're major lawyers in DC and they make massive amount of money, they're looking to get a consortium together to start another franchise in the DMV and Virginia. What kind of franchise?
I think he's talking WNBA, and they're doing that. I think that's going to be too close.
Yeah, that's way too close.
And I think the problem that Virginia has is they got too many. I mean, what's the lady? Oh, I can't think of her name now. But it was a delegate from the Hampton area that did victory laps after she made it so that the Caps and the Wizards couldn't even get on the budget. Anthony, there's no way they're doing baseball in Virginia. If that's in Virginia, it's got to be Southern Virginia. I'm talking about like past Hampton Roads.
That's Virginia Beach.
Beyond that, almost.
But that's minor league territory. That's where all the minor league teams are.
Well, you got teams a little bit of everywhere. I mean, I know you got the Richmond. I don't know if they're still called the Spiders, but I know Richmond has a team. You still got Fredericksburg, the Fred Nats. Norfolk used to have a team. I don't know if they still have it or not. This would be a good time to use my MLB app. But I don't know, man. I just think Virginia's going to have a problem because their delegation isn't big on building sports facilities for teams to use. And they proved that by shutting down many moons ago. They shut down what's his face? They shut down Cook because that whole area where Porsche and Potomac Yards that was all supposed to be the new stadium.
Yep.
Virginia is it's like Virginia's been a tease. They'll be like, all right, yeah, we want a team. And then I had this scenario. Story time with me. No, I'm joking. It's like when you get back with a girl, and then in the first 10 minutes after y'all get back together, y'all start arguing, and then you remember every reason why you didn't want to be there. Yeah, that's what Virginia is. Virginia, oh yeah, we can do this. We can get you a stadium, everything. Ooh, oh no, we gotta build it. Let me call you back.
This is why I said about when everybody was talking about put Washington Commanders new stadium in Virginia. I said traffic is already horrible in Virginia. You're talking about a commute from DC natives. Oh, you can catch a train, but they're talking about putting it away from a train station. Then you want people to catch buses. You want people to drive. Nah, you're going to lose everything. And then you got to realize you're putting it out there where people don't want the stadium. So you talking about baseball, and then Anthony said maybe hockey. That's not going to happen. Virginia's a high school sports state. They don't do well with the pros. That's a high school spot. And Maddie said, no way, no VA gets a baseball team. The O's and the Nats won't have that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, that's why I said they'd have to be in the south part of Virginia, way down deep. You caught on to it.
Yeah. Maddie said the failed deal in Alexandria probably sealed the fate for a long time. I agree. But
it showed that they don't want it. I think Anthony's family and friends. I think I'm doing my Showtime Saturday. I'm just chewing something real quick. This is how you do it with Showtime. Nah. But seriously, I think the way that thing went down, I don't see people taking Virginia seriously anymore when it comes to these type of projects. I think whatever her name is and the way she took that victory lap, yeah, man, I'm good. I think sports teams looked at that, not so much the teams, but the leagues, and was worried and like, nah, I don't know if we want to deal with that.
Now, as far as training facilities or practice facilities, because you got the ice, what is it called now? MedStar Ice Complex.
Yeah.
Down off Wilson Boulevard. It used to be called Kettler.
Yeah.
You got Redskin Park 1 and 2 in Ashburn.
Big Bear AI. They just sponsored that last year.
Jesus. Anthony said, Midnight, what you're talking about with Virginia and basketball happens with the NHL in Atlanta.
You got to explain that one.
All right. He said, because look how many teams they have have had in the NHL in Atlanta, and they fail, and it's been on and off, people promising that they're going to fund the stadium and then back out.
Yeah, exactly.
And Maddie said Dulles Airport area could support it, but it isn't going to happen.
It's like when you tell that girl, you know what? If it takes me going to church with you every week to get you back, then after that first church service, you like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to being heathen. You know what? I like being single way too much for this. I'm just saying this. I've heard people say that. That's not like something I've actually said and done. I'm just saying it's what I've heard people do.
Of course, we'll keep an eye on the whole Lakers thing, see where that goes. I think Midnight Ride, I think your timeline is right. I think we're not going to see any resolve for a year. So, because once the season starts, they're not going to want to wheel and deal. They're not going to want to talk about it. They're going to want to focus on the games. So, final comment. Hold on.
Yeah,
there's 2 more.
Yeah.
Andy said, I'm going to use the MLS with the team in Miami. It took us 5 years to get a stadium approved next to Miami International Airport because the neighborhood was fighting against it.
Yeah, but it didn't hurt that you brought in Messi. So bringing in Messi, like, helped that whole situation out.
And he said Atlanta may get a third shot at the NHL, sadly.
Well, you know what it is. Hockey players like wings too.
Lemon pepper, if you want to be precise.
Exactly.
Andy said, when was the last time they updated and revamped Staples Center? They just did when they changed the name to Crypto. And they did a remodel last year, right before the Clippers opened their arena. They did a remodel to keep up with the Clippers. So, all right, switching gears from the round ball to the oblong ball. The Commanders had their preseason opener on Friday night. They beat Anthony's Miami Dolphins 20-7. some highlights in this game, some players that you might want to take a look at. Quinn Ewers played in this game. Malik Willis, A-Chain played for Washington. You saw little Sam Hartman. Everybody going all over. What's his name? Ethan Kalamanakis.
We just call him Calamanis. Cadillac Manis. What we call him.
Everybody going crazy over him. Mariota sprained his knee. Sprained his MCL, I believe.
Yeah, MCL.
MCL. Robert Henry Jr. was a breakout star because undrafted, had a long run of 22 yards, ran for 75 yards. Katron Allen had 85 yards. He carried the bulk of it. Midnight Ride.
Carries.
Huh?
Said 23 carries.
Yeah.
I'll give you here. All right, I'll go from. I'll start at the beginning. First quarter, first drive. It looked like the defense was playing like something basic, just to get them going. And I felt like the fits were bad and off. And I think some of that had to do with the front guys. You know, when you're in with the twos and the threes, some of those guys still want to get their shine. So I think in some of their attempts to get shine and get recognized, maybe they were trying to make the big play instead of doing the play or making the play. So that's why I felt like that first drive looked so disjointed. And I found it very hilarious that like people cut up the 14 plays that Styles was on the field and were like, "Oh, told you he's gonna be a bust." I'm just like, dude, he doesn't even have the first string D line in front of him. I don't even know these guys. Like, you got Shy Tuttle. You know what I'm saying? When I hear Shy, I'm thinking about the 4 dudes from Howard singing "If I Ever Fall in Love Again." Shoot. Make sure the lady is a friend. And if I ever fall. But I ain't gonna keep going with that. But still, it's like that's one of those things where everybody just overreacts. We haven't had football. Now we got football, and it's like let's take this to the nth degree. I thought the kid Robert Henry was impressive. I like the fact they had him on punt returns. I found it funny that he had that one return where he fair caught it, and people were like 8 yards away. I heard B. Mitch like saying I'm gonna have to talk to him about it, and I know B. Mitch has talked to him since then to give him some advice. But it was actually, to me, it was funny when I saw him on returns and I saw him doing this stuff in this first game. It brought back that memory of that night in North Carolina when B. Mitch was a rookie. It gave me that vibe. And then he played well. I thought the defense showed some little stuff. Miami side, I love me some Quinn Ewers, but I think this is a bad situation. But I think Quinn will still give you enough where he'll be a 10-year quarterback. He'll play 10 years. It'll be the Nathan Perryman version, but he'll play 10 years in the league. And I don't know if you saw some of the other games, but I did tell people that I think Drew Aller not being at Penn State, he's going to get an NFL coach that's going to believe in him. And I think Mike McCarthy believes in him. And he's going to play a little bit differently. He's going to shine in these games. This is like his perfect scenario. I don't know how good of a pro quarterback he'll be, but I think he'll show himself good enough to be a serviceable backup and another one of those guys that's going to play. You may not see him play all 10 of his years because he's going to hold a clipboard, but he's going to get him a nice little paycheck for 10 years, take care of his family, have him a nice, beautiful wife, 2 kids, picket fence, big house.
But do you know what holding the clipboard for 10 years gets you?
Get you a good as stipend and pension too.
Yeah, but it also gets you good coaching opportunities.
Heck yeah. Especially now. And I'm going to say it myself because I can say it, but it doesn't hurt. You know, if you're the right persuasion, those opportunities come quicker than others.
True indeed.
And because this league is going heavy on offensive coaches and young offensive coaches, I mean, look at it. We got David Blau, Sean Mannion, Kellen Moore. We got Matt LaFleur or Mike LaFleur, the other LaFleur, not the one that's in Green Bay, the other LaFleur. He's coaching somewhere. So I mean, you just got young guys, and they're all under 40. Some of them are offensive coordinators, some of them are that. I'm glad you brought that up because I did a search, and I think I saw that 21 offensive coordinators were hired, and I can't remember. I don't think any of them. And if there was, it was I know what it was. It was 21 coaches hired. The only minority was Mike McDaniels, and that's because he half and half. Now I say that because I say that in results to because we said this before. I say the NFL has a hiring problem. Now, if 21 coaches got hired to be offensive coordinators, and only one's a minority, that means you got at least 21 opportunities because most teams now in this hiring process, and because of the analytics, everybody's starting to turn to offensive coaches as your head coach and not defensive coaches. Now, I will give Ben Johnson credit because I see that he's been training up and giving Antoine Randall L some play calling responsibilities. So I would love to see that come to fruition for Randall L. But maybe he gets an opportunity to either be a coordinator or be one of the young hot coordinators and gets him a job. But I don't know if that's going to happen because Hines Ward's been in the coaching realm for a while and he hasn't gotten a shot. So we'll see.
Washington, a couple of teams made some moves. They released punter Matt Haack and Jake Moody today. You kind of saw the handwriting on the wall for Jake Moody. The missed kicks last week in camp.
Yeah, that was it.
You know what that reminded me of? The story that they told about Jimmy Johnson. I think this had to be the 91 and 92. It was like he wasn't shy about cutting people. And it was Lynn Elliott. And Lynn Elliott was in practice and he had missed a couple of kicks. And he said, "Lynn, you all right?" He said, "I think I lost my confidence, coach." He said, "Oh, okay." Walked in the office and cut him immediately. He's like, "All right, if you ain't got no confidence, I ain't got no confidence in you. Bye."
Yeah.
It's just that easy.
You ain't got confidence. Shoot, why should I?
Jimmy Johnson was famous for that. What was it? I think it was a running back. And he told him they supposed to do their conditioning test. And he's like, "Well, coach, I can't run. I got asthma." He said, "Okay, going over there to the asthma field." And he never played it down for the Dallas Cowboys. Curvin Richards fumbled 2 or 3 times in the final game of the season. It cut him right after the game. Was like, he'll still get his check. If we win the Super Bowl, he get a ring, but he won't be playing for us.
It's crazy.
I used to be that guy that I'm like, "Well, why are you cutting Jake Moody, man? That's our kicker." And if you're not performing, you got to go.
There you go.
I have grown up. And I got to credit this guy right here.
Proud of you, Doc.
I got to credit this guy right here. This guy. He's one of you and my man, Professor Lucky. Happy birthday to him today. He was like, "Y'all always tell me you can't get hung up on these players because this is not for long league now, for real. Guys don't stay in town 5, 10, 15 years, whole career. Nah, once you stop producing, you got to go." And that's the Jimmy Johnson philosophy. As long as you're making tackles, I love you. When you stop making tackles, I don't love you no more.
Yo, did you see the performance by one Jamin Davis this weekend?
No.
So he plays in Pittsburgh, rocks the number 50. So if you have NFL Network and that game comes on, he had 8 tackles, 2 sacks. I was just like, wow. So I didn't know he was still in the league. So
Yeah. He playing up there with another former Commanders linebacker, Cole Holcomb.
yeah,
That's
I
my
saw
guy.
him. I used to like him. I just didn't get it. Like he was fast, he was athletic, but I remember I used to always hear Brian Mitchell say he the only dude that he's fast, but the only problem is when he gets to the play, he run past the play. If you can't make a tackle, if you run past the play.
That's true. I used to call him the white version of London Fletcher because he was small, but he packed a punch.
I couldn't do that.
When he did tackle, he packed a punch.
Yeah.
Juju
London Fletcher might want
Smith-Schuster
to
got
fight you after
released.
this show.
Huh?
I said London Fletcher might want to fight you after this show for saying that.
It's all love. Juju Smith-Schuster got released.
Man, Father Time is a motherfucker. That's all I can say about Juju Schuster. I mean, it didn't hurt either because somebody made this comment earlier today. They were like, I mean, like, it's kind of hard not to succeed when you got Antonio Brown on the side of the field of you, taking everything. He's still getting like 1,400, 1,500 yards. Like, what you got to worry about? You still, and then you got Le'Veon going for 1,000 and 1,000. Like, you just out here eating.
Here's the problem, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not normally critical of certain players. Excuse me. He's 29 years old. The reason why he's getting released, it has nothing to do with talent. Well, okay. Let me rephrase that. It does have to do with talent. His talent, he overvalues his talent and underperforms. But it's a mental thing. You think you're better than what you are. Dude, you should be going back to your bases and your roots because you do not have a leg to stand on. This is your final shot, and it's done.
Nah, I think this is one of those situations where the harsh reality of Father Time and Yo, I'm sorry. I'm watching this WNBA game. I've never seen so many fouls not get called. I'd have gotten the T by now. I'm just letting you know. I'd have gotten the T. Might have gotten two. But back to this, what we're talking about. Let's re-rack it for me.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, so I think he sat out a year because of a leg injury, and I think he just wasn't the same after. I don't think he did anything, or I think it's one of those situations where sometimes your body, if you don't take care of your body enough and take care of it the right way, your end of your career ain't the same as everybody else's. I think that's the one thing I can credit Odell with is Odell's still comfortable being. He's comfortable being the third or fourth guy. He know he ain't one no more.
But it took him a minute to get there.
Yeah. So now instead of him being like the lead singer in the group, like he went and found his version of Gerald Levert, Keith Sweat, and company and formed LSG. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't all carry like we used to, but together we can make a good sound.
I mean, I gave Odell a ration of shit over the years. You know, before he started singing, "What's behind door number one?" You know, before he started doing that, I said, everybody talking about he's a Hall of Fame. I said, what has he done? His career was made off of one catch. I said, what catches he made in the playoffs that picked up a first down? What play did he make to seal a game to win the division? What play did he make in the Super Bowl? Then he started making plays in the Super Bowl when he was with the Rams.
Right.
If he wouldn't have got hurt in that game, he would have been MVP. After that, I was like,
easily.
I got off his back. I was like, you're good.
Easily. I don't know.
I let him be.
I'm sorry. I keep looking up every now and then to take a peek, and I just see something stupid. And they called that one. Okay, never mind. We good.
Our next slate of preseason games, Washington plays Saturday.
Yep, in Detroit.
Next
Detroit.
Thursday, you got the Texans and Raiders, 49ers and Chargers. And Friday, you got Jets, Steelers, Panthers, Jaguars, Packers, Broncos. And then the Saturday slate, Commanders, Lions, Falcons, Colts, Bills, Browns. I'm curious about the Browns because I was looking at somebody, they were doing a preseason highlight on Shadul, and I kind of actually enjoyed it. I was like, he's making throws. He's getting out of the pocket, but he's not relying on his athleticism. He's looking downfield, going through his reads, and I'm liking the way he's looking. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm liking the way he's looking.
Why?
Why not?
I don't know. I mean, that's Deshaun Watson's job. I'm sorry. What I saw this week in this first preseason game, I just don't see. How do I want to say this? He does not give me a reason to believe he's better than Watson, or he's going to run it better than Watson. And I think his problem is as long as you keep it even, then Watson's going to be leaving because the money and everything else puts him further ahead. And I think Watson can figure out better how to be a 72 and sunny guy and not be the guy anymore.
Okay. I mean,
it's me. It's me. It's not you. It's me.
I know. I invented that, but this is what I want to try. If I would love to see Shador and Deshaun Watson QB battle through your eyes, and then I'll tell you what I see, and I'll see if we come up on the same page because I may be looking through rose-colored glasses. Because number one, Deshaun's one of my guys. Now Shador's becoming one of my guys, so I may be looking through rose-colored glasses.
I mean, I don't even know if it's like. I think it's just like sometimes we look at two different things at times, or we see it two different ways. So yeah, I'd love to have that thing.
Okay.
Maybe if I can remember, if I think is Cleveland play Thursday or Friday? Let's see when Cleveland plays. And see if we can watch the two of them and maybe take notes and compare notes on the next show.
Thursday. Hold on. Nope, that's wrong. That's not this Thursday. Wait, hold on.
Don't worry about
Saturday. They play Saturday.
So, yeah. So the homework assignment would be, because the NFL Network, just between now and next Tuesday, try to watch. And if just being honest, say, only watched a couple plays. That's it. But now that you say that, I think tomorrow morning, I think I'm gonna go listen to some Cleveland radio tomorrow because I want to see what they say. Because by now, Llama should be back, so they should be at full strength. Yeah, that's the vibe I got or I've been feeling. But I'm gonna listen to my guys and see what they say tomorrow morning, and get a feel for that.
I appreciate that, Maddie, because I mean, you and Maddie listen to Cleveland radio a lot more than I do, but
yeah,
you'll have more of a pulse, but I want to have that.
No, dude, I understand this part. Yeah, like all of us are, like when we watch, we see different stuff because we look at different stuff, and yeah, Maddie. Yeah,
Watson
that's great.
Scored on 10 points in the game one, but Sanders is starting this one. Okay.
But I think that's all they scored. I don't think they scored during the Sanders drive. I could be wrong, but I do like I like their rookies. I like KC Concepcion. I like Denzel Boston. They both flashed for me. I didn't watch enough to say, oh, like I'm not saying I would draft either of them in any kind of draft. Speaking of which, you got to start thinking about that. Like, when were you trying to do that?
Fantasy draft?
Yeah.
September 6th. I'm looking at September 6th. That's Sunday at 5 p.m.
Sunday, 5 p.m., September 6th. Oof, okay. I'm gonna have to set some alarms for that one.
Maddie said they spend all that money on him, and Sanders is a 5th-round pick. Yeah, that's always a factor.
But I think I'm still this from Grant and Danny. I think that it's more to it than that, because I think they know that if Watson gives them let's say he and Shador give them the same type of quarterback play, I think Watson's version of the same is just a little bit better and a little bit more efficient. That I think they can find something there. Like, he's done it before. Watson's been one of the top 5 QBs in this league, and now, because of his injuries and because of everything else, now he has to figure out who he is. He got to go look at the man in the mirror and figure out. He got to change his ways, because he's no longer the dominant. No, I'm being serious. He's no longer the dominant quarterback. Like, he got to turn into a game manager. I used to joke with people all the time.
Yes.
Like, I had this joke when we played in certain leagues. I'd be one time we were playing in a flag league, and they were like, "Oh, you gotta be the Q." I was like, "All right." So on my way to the game, they was like, "Oh, we're gonna be there halfway through." I was like, "Perfect. All right." So what I'll do is I'll give you my Sean King. You know what I'm saying? I'll manage the game, get us going through the offense, and get us, keep us competitive. And then y'all come in and we, second half is all yours. Play responsible QB. I knew I didn't have to be a gunslinger at that time. There are other times where the gunslinger decides every now and then, this patience thing ain't our thing, dog. You gotta chuck one.
Chuck and duck, baby. Chuck and duck.
I used to joke with people all the time that if there was a quarterback that was like my stepdaddy and raised me, it was Daryl LaMonica.
The Mad Bomber. Okay.
See,
I was
you weren't even ready for that.
Nah, I wasn't. Not from you. No, not at all. Now, last but not least, the Nats are free falling. They haven't won a game since August 13th, which was last Thursday, where they beat the Cubs 7-0. Now, this is the run all the way up until today. They lost to the Mets 4-1, 5-4, and 4-3. We talked about it. I believe
can
it.
You say that?
Huh?
You sure? Hey, man, you gotta be clear on that one, man, because I don't want Jaden Daniels calling us because you said 5.
But when we were talking, I believe it was last Thursday, we agreed you gotta steal 2 here, lose 1. You gotta go in the series. You could try to sweep. They have not done that.
But they're not. So here's the 2 things. Like, one thing can be false. 2 things can be true. The false thing is, I don't think this is like them falling back to who they really are. The 2 things that can be true is, if you've seen Albie Ortiz, he's pretty much covering for Luis Garcia and the production you get from him. I think the person that has hurt them is CJ Abrams. I think he's been 0 for his last 10. That's the guy that, you need him, especially when you don't have James Wood. And I think that's the bigger factor in all of this is, when you don't have James Wood as the centerpiece of your offense, setting everything up, that's where everything becomes difficult and hard for this team to find wins in the margins. They can be, I said this to you all year, the way they're constituted with everybody healthy, they can beat the teams that's on their level. Problem is, when they face the top 6, the top 8, they out of their league. They fighting out of their weight class. But I heard a stat this week that they're like 13-27 against NL East teams. So that hurts. So if you're 13, I mean, that means you're losing to the Mets, Marlins, of course, the Phils, because they had that terrible series against the Phils where they led every game until like almost the seventh inning, and then all of a sudden they lost that game or lost all those games. And then the Braves. So some of this is just their undoing, and they fall back to reality. You know, sometimes you gotta go back to life and back to reality.
When we were talking about this 2 weeks ago, we were talking about them not taking, and going to the World Series, but they're in a good spot. I think they were 3 games above 500.
Right.
Now they're 6 games below 500. They were single digits off of first place. And we were talking, I'd say keep pace. You're not going to win it, keep pace. The Marlins have overtaken you by 4 games. Now you're 14 and a half off of first. But again, you're 27-36 at home, 33-30 at home on the road. I'm not expecting miracles, but I'm expecting them to say, hey, look at what we got. We can do something. At this point, they're not going to win.
You took your best pitcher, the guy that when you got in these situations, he would always find a way to get you a dub. You know, I think what's going to happen and what's going to be interesting is like when people start coming back. September's going to be an interesting month for this team because there's a possibility that after 2 years of this kid not playing, you might get a chance to play Josiah Gray. And I wouldn't, honestly, if he comes back, I would never start him the rest of his life. I'd throw him in the pen and tell him to figure out a path. Because for you to sit 2 years and 2.5 years without pitching, the last time he pitched was like 2024. So, like, I just don't see. For him, I think he's another person that you just kind of say, "Hey, let's take care of you in the short term. Let's not put those miles on your arm anymore. You know, let's get you into a role and let you do this." You know, they still waiting on DJ Hers. I think he's got a thing coming, but the problem is James Wood, his oblique isn't responding. So you might not see him till early September. And if it's not early September, it's mid-September. And then at that point, do you even want to run the risk of playing him in that stretch?
Shut him down. I mean, what are you playing for?
Well, it's not even playing for, because for a kid like him, you want him to finish out on a high note. And like, so was he? Maybe he's at 29. Maybe he's at 29 home runs, right? Let's just say that for right now. Doesn't matter if the reality is 30 or not. But if it's 29 and that the oblique feels good, maybe we play him the last 15, we can get him to 30. Maybe we can get him to, over 90 RBI. Like, we can get him a season in his belt that he can put in his pocket and go to sleep this summer. I mean, this fall and winter, and know that, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? I can do this at a high level. Now, I'm not sure who's going to be around me because I don't know if this team is going to pay anybody, but, I can do this for a little while.
Let me say this. Maddie says Nats pitching just isn't there.
Yes.
And that is what they have to add. Now, Maddie, you in the comments, Midnight Rider, you sitting here with me. When you guys say you talk ad nauseum about their pitching, Midnight Rider, I want to know something. Do you build it through the draft, or do you just start getting the best free agent arm? Do you open up the purse and get you a starting rotation off the free agent market?
Well, I'm glad. You know what? You do this. You're pretty good at this, because that's and some people in the business, they call this a segue. Because it segs me to the next thing that I want to talk about is I think part of the starting pitchers problem or some of their pitcher problem is their defense behind them. And I've said this, if you watched us talk baseball at any point, I always talk about defense up the middle of the defense. I'm talking about my catcher, my shortstop, my second baseman, and my center fielder. And this week, the announcement came out that the Nats are moving CJ Abrams to second base, and they're going to start playing Nasim Nunez at shortstop. I think that instantly helps your defense and your pitching staff. Because there are plays that CJ Abrams can't get to that Nasim Nunez, who plays an all-star shortstop when he plays shortstop. He plays at an all-star level. He's high on every defensive matrix. And if you look at CJ Abrams, he's in the lower third of every defensive matrix. So instantly your defense gets better. Now the only problem is, will CJ Abrams take his below average shortstop defense and then become below average at shortstop? I'm sorry, at second base. So with his below average shortstop defense, now just transitioning to below average second base defense, or will it become on par? Because if he can just play a decent second, you keep him and you extend him. Only problem with that is when you start trying to talk extension with a young fellow like that, second base money $25 million, shortstop money is $40 million. Yeah. And you automatically ask him to take a pay cut. Yeah. I don't know if he's even ready for that.
Turn into a Jimmy Graham situation.
Like, it just becomes a situation where, and the problem I think that the Nats ran into is they were seeking shortstop value from him when they tried to trade him. And the problem was everybody's like, nah, we'll give you this value. We'll give you a very good player value, but we're not giving you the shortstop value. So that's when you hold on to a guy and wait for the offseason. Because I don't think anybody in Major League Baseball feels that this guy is a shortstop, to be honest with you. I mean, you've heard me for the last 2 years tell you about Nasim Nunez should be their shortstop. And I'm not saying it because I think Nunez is the future at short. I just think he's a good, really good shortstop. And when you get good defensive play from your shortstop, there are certain plays that the routine plays become actually routine. That's big. That's big for a pitcher. When the routine becomes routine and gets converted as a routine, that's saving you outs. That's saving you pitches. So that's why I say defense up the middle of the diamond is important.
I can agree with that. Maddie said Foster Finley had a good start. Cleveland and
no, it's Foster finally.
Finally,
said, yeah. You ready that silly? You called him JP.
And he said, open up the pocketbook on the offseason depends on the labor agreement. And Abrams' agent wasn't happy about it for sure.
Well, Abrams' agent and Abrams wasn't happy about it. But, I mean, their harsh reality is they're still arbitration eligible. And when they get in that arbitration, because the Nats going to take this to arbitration. So he's going to have to sit in that courtroom. And when they hear the numbers, they know the numbers. He know the truth. But when they start telling him the truth about him, it ain't going to be fun. It ain't going to be fun when the rabbit got the gun. Because he's going to be sitting there and they're going to say, you're in the lowest percentile of run saving. You're the lowest percentile of independent fielding. You're the lower percentile of this. He's probably in the lower third of everything. When I say everything, I mean everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
All right. So as of right now, Let me double check because they were down 2-0 in the bottom of the third. I think they're still down to the Rangers. They got the Rangers tonight, tomorrow, and
Yeah, so they're on a 9-game road trip. I
they're
know it
down 3
starts with
nothing.
the Rangers. I don't know what the other pieces of this road trip are, but yeah.
You got the Rangers tomorrow and Thursday. Then they go to Miami with a 3-game set against the Marlins. Then they come home on the 24th to face the Rockies for a 4-game set. And then the Marlins for 4. The Braves visit for 2. And then they go back on September 4th. They go out to LA to see the Dodgers for 3, the Padres for 3, and then come back home to host the Angels for 3, Phillies for 4. No, Phillies for 3. No, I'm sorry, Phillies for 2, Cardinals for 3. They visit the Cardinals. Shit, all is red. My eyes are getting bad. Then they go to Detroit, and they finish up the season at home against the Mets for 3. So I don't see them winning. It's 4-0. I had a prediction that they were going to at least win 80. I don't see them winning 80.
Yeah, but you did a good job because you gave them. You thought they would be more competitive than what we thought they would be, and you were right in that aspect.
My college top 10 picks. I gotta send that to you.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, I gotta send
email
that. I do have to send that to you. Let me put that on my list to make sure I send it tomorrow morning while I'm sitting doing nothing. I'll send it to you tomorrow morning. I'm glad you reminded me, Maddie.
Maddie, we're gonna have to do some negotiations because here at Midnight Rider Media, we do not do top 10s before Columbus Day. But because it's you, if you give me a little time, I'll try to give you the best and my unbiased top 10. You just gotta give me some time. I'll try to get it to you. This week's been busy, so maybe I can try to get it to you Thursday. If that works, Thursday or Friday, I'll try to get it to you.
I got a little extra time tomorrow, so I'll make sure I send that out.
I just know me, and like I used to do this. I used to make Jack wait. I'm like, nah, dog. We gotta get past. We gotta actually see them play somebody.
Maddie said Scooter agreed with the Nats too. This is all for your favorite word.
That's right, content, baby.
Well, time to wrap that shit up, D.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
I'll let you go first.
I'll just close it out like this. Indiana 97, Toronto 93. We had the Jayden Daniels thing. I still really don't have too much of a. I think Brian Kelly wrote checks that Lane Kiffin wasn't willing to cash. I'll say it that way. And I think that's was really hurt the family because I think they took the word of a man that said in his opening press conference about his family. I mean, sometimes you just can't believe that guy, and I think they did, and I thought they thought the school was on board with it, and I think what's his name, Mike Florio said something today that was very good. He talked about Steve Largent back in when Jerry Rice went to Seattle. The claim was that Steve Largent gave his blessing, and Largent tells a story that he never gave his blessing for Rice to wear the 80. But then he never really said anything after Rice actually wore the 80. Because I think he knew that at that point in time, you know, the risk reward wasn't worth it. And I think that's the one thing the Daniels family kind of underestimated was the risk reward of this happening. They But no, they missed out on this because now, you know, the funny part is in the social media world, everybody becomes the seagulls from Finding Nemo, and they repeat everything they hear. So they just do their version of it and repeat it. I can't tell you how many people talked about. I was messing around, but we scored 4 runs out of respect for Jaden Daniels, or blah blah blah, and like every baseball team did it. Every I think StubHub said they only sell tickets in packages of 4 and 6 out of respect for Jaden Daniels. Like everybody took the low hanging fruit, and I think that's the one thing they kind of underestimated in the process. I got why they were upset, but yeah, I'll leave it at that.
For my wrap it up, I'm gonna double back. I meant to read this. This is from Scooter. He said Bill Rasmussen was the communication director for the WHA's New England Whalers in Hartford, Connecticut.
Yep.
When he was fired, he and his son Scott started ESPN in Bristol to broadcast Connecticut sporting events on local cable, and decided on something even bigger. Scott would start the preeminent political polling company, Rasmussen Sports Reports.
Mm-hmm.
So, meant to read that earlier. Appreciate that, Scooter.
Scooter's the one dude that, like, he will say stuff and you're just like, why do you know this? He's a walking like Encyclopedia Britannica.
And you know something crazy? When I find people like that, it's not why do you know this? It's more of it's more of a shouldn't everybody know that?
Right. I think Maddie
So I
means
love
the KG Hartford counter is one.
I love it. I'm a history buff anyway.
I know.
People always say, why do you know this stuff? Well, I wasn't the greatest kid, so I couldn't go outside. And then on times when I couldn't watch TV, it was like pick up a book. So I picked up the sports encyclopedia.
Well, I mean, the fact that you have a stack of Sports Illustrated says it all.
Oh, I miss it. I really do. And I told this story, but Bia tell you. You say something, oh, this happened in 90. Oh, no, it didn't. Hold on, wait. And I would go and I flip through because they all in order by the weeks that they came out. Lift that off. Don't touch the book. But here's an article right here. That's where it was said. All right, close that back up. Put it back on. Put the stack back on. I had a library. I had a library of Sports Illustrated and Jet magazines and Ebony magazines.
Truly an 80s, 90s baby, boy.
Yeah, man. Loved it. We will be back on Thursday. We'll figure out what we're talking about. You'll see the graphic, the promo, and everything. But this right here, I don't know. I was chomping at the bit all day to get in here, and this was good. I said, "Oh, let's get out of here at 110." We at 124, man.
I don't never pay you to you, dog. Whenever you say that, I was just like, yeah, okay, no, whatever.
Oh,
he was like, "Oh, I'm only spending 10 minutes on the rest in peace." We were at 20 when we went to break. I was like,
yeah, I fucked up.
Yeah, we good. Yeah,
that's on me. I take that one. Take that one.
It's all good, man.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you to Mrs. Boss Man, Anthony, Matty Ice, everybody that joined. If you're watching it on the playback, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe. Until Thursday.
Don't forget if you want to go back, like you caught us in the middle and you didn't catch everything, go back tomorrow and listen to the playback on all your audio streams. Whether it's iHeart, Apple Radio, all of it. Go ahead.
Make sure you pick it up. So, for the Midnight Rider, I'm the big guy KG. If you're out on your bike tonight, do wear white. We out of here.